we're beyond excited about this because it's a reality. It's here. 15 years we've been waiting for Cresfund. Purpose of it? Tell them, Darrin.
So I got one. Okay. So realistically, guys, what we have done over the years is really beat our brains out to try to figure out how to build a community for the kingdom. Now you got to catch this. This is not about just investing, right? Because it's not just about investing cash. This is about a community. I want you to see this. I want you to see how Jewish people operate. If you're a Jew and you move from Jerusalem to New York, the Jewish community swarms them. And they say, Caleb, what do you want to do for a living? I want to be a dry cleaner. Okay, here's $1,000. And 100 people give him $1,000. It's called community. And then guess what? When Caleb gets off the ground with his dry cleaning business, he's a part of our community. Now watch, somebody else comes in and they gather. What do you want to do? I want to be a baker. Okay. And they support. Everybody say support. So that's a community. A community supports itself. That's what we're trying to build. That's what we have formatted. So I've been doing real estate funds for years and years and years, and you had to have a certain amount of money to get into the game with us. It is what it is. You can't call me back in the day, you couldn't call me, I got $5,000. I'll be like, you can call Mike Ross. I can't help you. I can't. There's too many moving parts for that. But now we can. So what does that mean? So here's what we're doing. The fund is going to be part of our coalition that feeds each other. You got to see the community part of this. You got to see the community part of this. Don says, hey, man, we're going to buy this church building in Pasadena, Texas, or whatever, right? Well, we can do that together. Y'all didn't hear me. Yes. We can do it together. Go ahead.
And I don't want to interrupt this, but here's the other thing. We have tried to make our pastors businessmen. Mm-hmm. And any good pastor is the worst businessman in the world because he wants to give everything away. That's his heart. Doesn't mean they're bad. So the thing that we look at when we talk about this in building communities is, again, we put the undue pressure many times of the pastor trying to do things that they're not qualified and called to do. What we want you to do is get in the Word, find a good word, and release that to the people. We'll come in, get the property and the things. There was just in Gastonia, we were talking about this, just in Gastonia, there was a pastor. His whole heart was to do nothing but feed the homeless people. So as long as he had a little church, the city left him alone. The moment he started bringing in homeless people, they said, no, the codes and everything's out, and they shut him down. 3 of the people went on the street the other night. One of them died because it was too cold. Now, that's beyond tragic. But his heart is, what can I do to bring these people in? Yeah. And so I was having a conversation with a couple of guys, and I said, would it not be great that if we could just drop in and find a good building? It's still an investment. That's this side. We're not talking about charity. We still want to make money. You can do both. That's right. But you relieve them of the duty of having to do things because we've created this theology that we go, hey, guess what? I'm here in the pastor in the city. I'm going to take the city. Pastors don't take cities. Kings do. Businessmen do. Turn me on. I went off for a minute back there. Check 1, 2. Thing went out on me. It did. Kings build cities. Pastors set the climate, the atmosphere, they're spiritual. But you got to have a king go in with money and move things. That's what this is about. Mm-hmm. Let our pastors pastor and be spiritual and do what they need to do. And then the city can't shut them down. Yeah. And the lawmakers that are being fed from this have the capacity to change laws so that we can make an impact.
One of our Christian problems, weird words, but one of our issues is that we are separated. And this separates us, like this money scenario separates us more than any issue in the world. The money issue separates us. We can jump over politics issues, but this money issue separates us. And here's what we do. we go, I've got some money to invest and I'm going straight to Wall Street. Well, but Sunday morning you were preaching about the world system, the cosmos, but you going to support the cosmos that the enemy is running, that the people that you call wicked are running it, and you put it in there. Your 401k's in there. Everything is in that matrix of a system. And I'm telling you, listen, I don't need this. I don't, he doesn't. We can just go, I'm out. I don't need all this. This is too much. Church people too stubborn. Because y'all looking at me right now looking like a calf at a new gate. You're stubborn. You're stubborn. I start talking about your money and you go, you just want my money. I don't need your money. You need me to have your money. There's a huge difference from that. I don't need your investment. You need to invest in us. There's a way big difference. Why? Because there's going to come a time when your grandkids come. We're going to have a community of movemental parts. Think about this, that the 20-year-old who's out of college and he joins our coalition and he goes, well, I have $100 to invest every month, and he starts to build his investment dollars and he starts to be around us. When you get around prophetic people, you start to prophesy more. When you get around rich people, you start to make more money. Yes or no? Isn't that right? I get around Doc Cotto, I start reading Greek and Hebrew. It just is what it is. Right? You just start reading Greek and Hebrew and start talking stuff. I mean, that's just how it is, right? That's why I study listen to me now. So think about your kids that get to hang around with people in our community. And they get to start investing at 18, 19, 20 years old. And then by the time they're 30, now watch this, they say, I want to start a business. And they come over to our group, I say us, but our group, and they say, how can I start this business? And all the resources are aligned. And then they can borrow money from you that you have in the funds that you're making a return on, because we can divide that up into 45 different places. And you support your grandkids. Do y'all see it or no? Am I making any sense at all?
And let me throw in, because I want to make sure everybody's clear. We help people invest in the market. See that beautiful little lady back there on the camera? Just turn around and look at it. That's John's daughter that he was trying to, get rid of earlier. All my sons are too old, or listen, I would have sent one. That beautiful little girl's a millionaire. A millionaire. Not yet, but she's on her way because she started investing. We help people invest in the market. We're not anti-market. Just want you to be clear as we talk about it. Not anti-market. But it's hard when you deal with Christians when you go, look, we have something else we can do. And we think that the market is the only thing that there is. We'll help you invest in the market. We have RIA firms set up. We've been doing this, literally have firms set up with the lowest fee structure in the entire world to help Christians invest. We'll help you do anything you want to do. If you have a 401k, we're going to keep you in your 401k. We're going to help you. We're committed to helping you increase and be a good steward. So I just want to throw this disclaimer that you don't think we're saying everything else. We'll help you with all that.
Right.
But we got to have something that does not have the tainting of the world system. I'm invested in the market. Darren's in the market. That's good. I'm making money in the market. I'm glad. I understand all that. But we've got to have something, because all those fees, you know the old story. When you go into towns, you'd come into Raleigh and the biggest building you'd find was the church. You come in Charlotte, where I live, biggest building is Bank of America. How do you think they got that? Fees. And we're not mad at them. But we got to change how we play this game.
Yeah.
We got to change if we're going to do this. We've got to change. And so it takes a lot of unbelievable amount of work. Now, I'm going to say this because it's just on my mind when you said that. We believe in the market. We help you in the market. That's good. Nothing wrong with having something in the market. Sometimes people say, well, how do I know that that's not a Ponzi scheme? Good question. But I will remind you first before I answer that every Ponzi scheme has happened inside the Security Exchange Commission's watch. Not outside. We have accountants. We have an immense amount of, I don't know how many hundreds of hundreds of hours with attorneys to create directives and documents that you have to put in place. This is extremely complex, but it has to be done.
It has to be done.
It's an enormous amount of work, and we're just now at the beginning stages of doing it. But we have to do it. We do not have the luxury of sitting back and creating an excuse because we're afraid. So I just want you to understand when we're talking about this, we help you all the way across the spectrum of investing. That's part of what we do. And I'm going to put up my at some point, John will put it up there, not right now, at the end, we created helpmeinvest.com. We had to pay $25,000 or $3,000 to get that name. Helpmeinvest.com, where we'll do Zoom meetings and help people for 30 minutes, absolutely free. I've done that for years and years and years. Absolutely free. Absolutely free. But not many people take me up on that. Now, when I worked down in Charlotte and had $1 million minimum, we had $3 billion under management. Come over to the Christians and say, hey, I want to help you for free. Oh, well, I don't know. I can't even work for free. I'm like the Maytag repairman. I'm just sitting there waiting for somebody to Zoom call me so I can help them invest. Nobody calls me.
That's good right there.
So I'm telling y'all that to say, yeah, we're coming after this.
Yeah.
We're coming after this. I don't care where you invest, you got to invest. If you can invest, and that's great. Doesn't matter. But you've got to invest. Hopefully you can let us help you with this because we believe this can change the world. We believe this is just the start of it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And listen, if there's two people that are baffled on the planet, I don't know why he chose us. And we do fight. We throw stuff at each other. We get mad. But we've never had the option of doing anything else because this is our assignment. So even when we don't like it, we have to fight through it and fix it. Start another day. But with all my being, I believe this is our purpose.
Yeah.
And I believe that as the body, back here, what we see, and I keep pointing back, there's a whole bunch of those in the room. This activity of getting out and getting involved and doing something is new for us in the church.
Yeah, it is.
It's new. And we love to hear people out there doing stuff. We love to come back and create sermons around them. But we don't show up to vote. We don't show up to invest. We don't show up to let our voice be heard. And we've got to change that. And the best way you change that, you know how the best vote you make is with your wallet. That's how you vote.
Yeah.
People used to ask me all the time in my church, which is probably why I don't pastor anymore. How do I vote? I said, with your wallet, with your bottom. You just pick it up and move it if you don't like it. Go to another church. That's how we vote in America. That's literally how we vote. But we've got to start doing it with money. We've got to start directing things because we have the opportunity to start giving back and impacting the stuff that it matters to us.
Yeah, and the reality is if we can pull together, we can build our own community and we can push what we want to push. Does everybody see it? We can push what we want to push. We can pull what we choose to pull, right? We can legislate what we need to legislate if we have the backing. But we all have to be together, right? We got to get in this thing. That's what a community is. That's just what a community is. And every other quote-unquote religion does that except for us. Except for us. Hence why we have 43,000 and change odd denominations, 47,000 denominations in the world because we're all different. We all want to be different and we'll spawn off. So listen, I'm into it to build a community. That's what this is. That's what this coalition is about. That's what Cresfund is for. So we can say, hey, we have something. Yeah. And listen, I'm 50 years old. If I live to be 150, I'm gonna outlive Don regardless. So we're battling to see who's gonna live the longest.
Where do you get that from?
So I mean, whatever that looks like. There's no way we get to see the fulfillment of what this can be for and by the kingdom and in the kingdom. Maintaining and touching the chaos. Listen to me now. Chaos was built into the system in Genesis 1 and 2. Darkness covered the earth. It's built into the system. Resistance is built into the system. It takes the hands of Adam to turn the chaos and to create order out of the chaos. So that's what we're trying to do.
Walk them. I want to walk through this because this is where it gets messy. Remember, we were talking about this. This is where it gets. Let's walk through this to kind of walk them through. I also want to say this because I think this is good, and I think we have to shift our mindset. And I've said this. I said it at Pastor John and Amy's church. I'm planning on living to be 400 years old. Now let me.
That puts me at 407 or 6 or something.
You ain't beating me, Darren. You ain't gonna beat me. We probably will be out of spite for one another just to outlive. You ain't outlive me. I want you to hear me for real. I'm not being silly. It's not some revelation I got in the Bible. I want you to hear me out. And both of us. This has been. We're gonna live to be 400. You know why? Because for so many years the church taught me that if you can just get through this weary world, one day you're gonna have a place in heaven, and you're gonna live. And so most of what we do in the church is set people up to die. So our focus is about death, not life. It's about getting out of here. That's the whole focus. And I'm not getting into the theology of how you're getting out of here, where you're going. I'm just saying our whole focus in the church has been, we just make it through this weary world, and if we can just get through it. That is the worst theology in the world because we've abdicated every right. That's why we're not in politics. That's why we're not in finance, because we abdicated our responsibility because we're going to heaven. So we're just ducking and dodging the enemy while we're down here, hiding out in caves, hoping he doesn't find us, eking out a little bit of life, staying away from this terrible world that we live in that's going to hell in a handbasket. And then one day we'll get a reward in heaven. That's a terrible theology. I think it's unbiblical. So I've set my mindset. I don't know how long I'll live. All I want to do is outlive Darren. But I know this. I'm going to plan to live like I'm 400. So until the Lord comes and takes me, I'm going to be like Doc Cottle, 88 years old. Good luck keeping up with him. I want to be in the place. This is where we have to shift our thinking. I want to think generationally. Just as Eamon said, I want to think generationally. And when we create stuff that lasts forever. Yep. Think about creating. I want to create something that lasts forever. We want something that outlasts us years and years. Yeah. And I'm not looking to get out of here. Every one of us should have this mentality. We know it. We have preached it a little bit, that the longer you leave us, the stronger we're going to get. Yeah. Because we are, as we learned last night, we are in the place where God set us to set up dominion for our Lord.
That's it, man.
That's our job. Yeah. Not to get out of here. And that has caused us to back away from the world and from investing in anything and putting ourselves at a stiff arm's length from the world. Yeah. And then we're mad at them, by the way. And I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm a little preachy here. And then we're mad at them for being mad at us for that gospel. Yeah. That stiff arm. So here we are going, nah, you stay away from me. You're tainted and bad. Why are they mad at me? Why won't they come to my church and give their money? Gee, I don't know. So we've got to change that. Good. And that's what the heart of this is about.
Yeah. And Pops just wrote me a note and said, how much different would your church be if you had your own bank? Now, here's what I want you to see. We will have, listen to me, everybody look at me and put this on video. We will have our own bank in 5 years from now.
Ooh, come on, yes.
We will have a bank called Cresfund Bank within 5 years. Watch what I say. Watch what I say. It's already in the works. Only need $2 million to get it off the ground. That's all we need. So here's what we're doing. How different would your stuff look, Sarah, if we had this bank and you go, we're going to build this stuff over here that we're going to talk about this week. We're going to build this stuff over here, and we're just going to loan you the money. Now, watch how this works. Does everybody know how a community bank works? Right? You put in your $100. Anybody seen It's a Wonderful Life of Jimmy Stewart? One of my favorite movies, right? And he ran a savings and loan. And they would loan out, your deposit would loan out to him to build a church or a house or what. Does everybody know how that works? That's what this is. That's what this is. And I can do it with IRAs and 401ks, and we've got everything that we need. Everything that we need. And it's not just real estate, folks. This is buying businesses and starting businesses. We can buy churches. We can build churches. We can fund churches. We have every capacity that we've ever thought about. We now have that capacity. Okay? Tell me what you want to show them before we get out of here, because we are.
And once we get this moving and going, the big guys will want in. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Big money will want.
So I did research a few years ago, guys, on Wall Street and how much money our people, our denominations have in Wall Street. Our Protestant denominations, top three, have how much money we have in Wall Street. Just the top three. I had to stop. I got so nauseated. But if we took our Protestant people and we don't, and this is what we don't do, is we don't leverage the power that we have, because we're so divided. We got the Assembly of God, the Church of God in Christ, and it keeps going. The Assembly, how much did they have when you were there, Pop? You told me.
They have 47 million in 3 different places. 3 times 47 million.
And that's been how many years?
Oh my God.
Yeah, 40 years.
Yeah.
So the top 3 I looked at was well over $1 billion that we have in Wall Street. Now we're preaching about abortions and legislations and but they have the power to manipulate everything because they have their money together. It's together. One can put 1,000. Did you see it? That's what we're doing. Folks, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. You got to see this. We got to get this thing together. We've been working on this for 15 years, and there's so much stuff. It would take me all day, John, literally, to go through all of this. We're going to do some Zooms. I have one piece of this that you can make upwards of 70 and 80 and 90% cash on this if you stay with us over the next 15 years. It is absolutely bananas. Anybody do CPA at all in the room? Any accountants, work for accountants? There's a law, there's a 1202 law, IRS code 1202. President Obama instituted it, and it's called a small business, something, qualified small business. You invest in a qualified small business, and you can 10x your cash in the game if you stay 10 years in that small business. It is a sick plan. You know what that means, right? You can put in $250,000 and it can turn into $2.5 million. And what the IRS said is if you stay in for this amount of time, it's tax-free money. Y'all must not pay as much taxes as me, because that made me happy as all get out when I saw that. Look, we just have so much stuff. It would take a whole day. I promise you, it would take all day just to run through all this stuff. Make sure you're on the email list so you can get on our Zooms. John is demanding that we start getting on this and talking. But all of our stuff we can do together from here out. These folks come and say we need $10,000 and we can do it. Somebody says, hey man, we need to add a wing or we need to buy this building. Borrow our money and go buy the building. Is that making sense? That makes more sense than going to First Citizens with the largest building in town.
The first street of Wall Street is borrow somebody else's money. Yeah. That's what they do. So without getting too far in this, and we might need to take some questions. I'm sure that there's a million of them. But you understand that in America, we started with, most of us are too young, or a lot of us too young to remember. We started with what was called the gold standard. You familiar with that? Mm-hmm. So the gold standard means that when you went into the market, it was backed by a gold coin. So notoriously what they do when they market on TV, they market to elderly people, and they say, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold. That's who they're marketing. And the reason why is because they think, well, that's the standard. The gold standard is not in effect anymore. It's not there. He destroyed it. It's not in effect. It's paper on paper. In other words, it's a leverage game. It's a sum total game.
It's a debt system, yep.
That's all it is a debt system. So when you talk about that, the best investing you can do is something backed by an asset, right?
Right.
That's what we're talking about here. Not a borrow system and take this money and move it over there. You also have vetting. It doesn't mean that every single need that comes to us is going to be met. Some of them aren't good deals. Sometimes people pick bad deals. Sometimes Christians are really bad at going, hey, I want to do this. That's not a good thing right now or whenever, however. So it's not that we're going to create a bunch of money and everybody's going to line up and go, here's your $50. Here. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about creating entrepreneurs, investing in good candidates through different venues and means, backed by hard assets. Because those assets aren't going anywhere. Real estate is a hard asset. So by putting that system in place, we can create loan funds whereby we can then exponentially grow this by entrepreneurs and different people that are doing things. There's some incredibly gifted people on the earth today. Yeah, some of these kids make millions of dollars doing stuff that I still can't figure out.
That's real.
Like all you did was get on there and smile, and you got 15 million. There's a guy in the church in Atlanta that millions of dollars through the internet that he makes with his, and a wonderful Christian man. My point is that we have all these things and these venues and these opportunities today that we want to be able to get a hold of. I don't want to be marginalized, sit on the sideline any more than you do. We've got to get in this game and figure out how do we transition that money to the kingdom so we can advance the kingdom.
Yeah. So we're going to have to educate and we're going to have to talk, but we don't have time today. We got to run and gun. But we just wanted you guys to be aware of where we're going and everything, and that you can be a part of something really, really dynamic on the backside. Thank you guys. Love you.